Hello, my name is Dr. Sheila O'Keefe McCarthy, and I'm an associate professor at Brock University in the Department of Nursing. And I have been privileged to be able to work in clinical practice in the various areas of GI medicine, neurology, hematology, cardiology, in the intensive care and the emergency wards. And I've always been very privileged to work with individuals on their health, illness, wellness, and death trajectory. Delighted to be able to speak with you a little bit to identify how important it is for us as healthcare professionals, how to use the ability to think reflexively, to uncover perhaps our implicit biases. For those of us involved in creating this resource for you, the words haunting and reflective practice go together. They're kind of two sides of the same coin. Reflection, as you well know, is a state of mind. It's an evolving component of professional practice that allows us to grow in an ongoing, continual way. Reflection permits that purposeful act of thinking through an experience that perhaps might have impacted the care that we gave, thinking about the care we gave, and the health-related encounter at a deeper level. It allows us to understand that meaning, the rich layered nuances that perhaps we were blind to. Reflective learning is a process of internally examining and exploring a certain issue or concern, and it's triggered by our clinical experiences. This practice reality is in and of itself. It should haunt us. We say haunt us because we are in a significant position of power over someone. And haunt us because it requires us to go deep inside ourselves in ways that perhaps sometimes might challenge our worldviews or what we hold familiar or what we're comfortable with. It challenges us. It makes us ask those hard questions. Could I be racist? And to say things like, but I didn't mean any harm. Or, but I'm a good person. These are the kinds of questions as healthcare providers and people that engage in the health sciences. These are haunting questions, and they are the actual impetus or the catalyst in doing reflexive care. For me, over the years, a foundational core attribute that guides the healthcare encounters that I engage in is the word care. When I think of care, I think healthcare really can't happen without care. And what does it mean to care for someone? Or to how do we care with someone, to someone, or for someone? And more importantly, are we able to provide unbiased care? As healthcare professionals, I'm thinking that our actions, our inactions and thoughts, both conscious or whether we're not really conscious of it, impact the care that we give and the care that we might withhold. We know that from research and clinical practice that research is documented and demonstrates unrecognized and uncontested or unchallenged implicit bias encounters that have been in healthcare have resulted in health inequities, health disparities that we see in practice. Entrenched implicit bias encounters, they create poorer health-related quality of life for individuals, worse diabetic, chronic care and disease or pain management-related care, less access to colorectal, breast cancer, and in my area of research, cardiovascular screening. The ways in which we think as healthcare professionals really does impact the care that is received by others. And this is important to think about. We are guests, as I've said, in the individual's lives, and that invitation comes with the person seeking care for a health-related problem or illness. And in order to provide care for another, one needs to really understand the meanings and the layered nuances in that human experience, and how or not our implicit biases may have shaped or impacted that encounter. And we achieve this knowing and this new way of being in terms of how we are within that context by incorporating reflective and reflexive practice in our professional work. So hopefully by seeking out effective learning strategies such as, incorporating applied theater, dialogical educational experiences allows you to actually operationalize or use reflective practice in a very focused way. This use of reflexivity, it's kind of a strategy to help us question our own preconceived notions, our ideas, our values, our thought processes, our biases, our assumptions, and that we've not really examined thoroughly. It'll help us to understand the complexity of our role within the relationship to others and how we impact care. So some last thoughts. Just to be reflexive means that we actively, it's courageous work, to engage in confronting what disturbs us. Reflexivity allows us to examine, for example, how we seemingly, unknowingly, help create professional hierarchies or social or professional structures and systems that promote privilege, that perhaps exert a certain kind of power, or normalize the exclusion or marginalization of certain kinds of individuals, different from what we espouse or think we believe that our values stand for. Something to think about. In being reflexive and engaging in reflexive activities, we can unlearn to relearn a better way, perhaps, of being more ethical healthcare professionals. Thank you very much.